Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we are going to break down absolutely the defining sporting moment of a generation. I mean, if you thought you knew what athletic drama looked like, well, the 2022 World Cup final between Argentina and France, it completely rewrote the script. We've got the data, the tactical shifts, the timeline, the whole shebang, and we're going to walk through exactly how this epic collision actually unfolded. Surely one of the greatest football matches that has ever been played. As the final whistle blew, the commentary team summed it up perfectly right there. But to truly understand that sentiment, we have to ask ourselves a pretty provocative question. How exactly did a match that looked completely dead, totally buried, and absolutely decided after 80 minutes suddenly transform into an unforgettable, emotionally exhausting masterpiece? Really, how does a team come back from the absolute abyss? Okay, let's dive into this. Act 1. The ultimate football stage, and the Argentine masterclass. And this brilliantly illustrates the central narrative of our story. We've got high noon on a sizzling summer's day in Buenos Aires, a chill Sunday afternoon in Paris, and nightfall in Doha, setting this massive historical stage. On one side, you have Lionel Messi, 35 years old, the veteran seeking his very first World Cup to finally match the immortal supernatural legacy of Diego Maradona. And then on the other side, his clubmate, Kylian Mbappe, literally just 2 days shy of his 24th birthday, seeking his second consecutive World Cup to match the back-to-back greatness of Pelé. It's kind of the ultimate utopian narrative, right? The veteran seeking destiny going up against the prodigy defending his crown. So from the literal opening whistle, Argentina just tactically and systematically dismantled France. At the 23-minute mark, Messi converts a penalty with the absolute coolest of heads. Then jump to 36 minutes, and we see one of the most exquisite team goals of the entire tournament. It was this brilliant tactical move by Argentine manager Lionel Scaloni to play Angel Di Maria wide on the left, which completely exposed and overloaded the French defense. Set up by Alexis McAllister, the rapid counterattack is finished beautifully by Di Maria. And honestly, his performance was so overwhelming, he was visibly blinking back tears right there on the pitch. France was taking such a beating that by the 41st minute, they had to make a desperate, drastic change. Because the sheer scale of France's first-half collapse was just shocking. You really have to contrast the mental states of these two squads. Argentina had swagger. They were sharp, hungry, dictating the tempo of literally every single possession. France, well, conversely, they recorded 0 shots on target early on. They were incredibly lethargic, totally lacking their usual explosive pace. There were actually rumors of a virus sweeping through their camp all week, which might explain it. It was so bad that French manager Didier Deschamps made the ultimate psychological and tactical gamble, pulling his star forwards Olivier Giroud and Ousmane Dembélé off the pitch before halftime even arrived. I mean, that is a brutal admission that your initial game plan has entirely failed. Act 2, 97 seconds of chaos. Could France find a way back? Because the slow, methodical control of the first half was about to just evaporate, completely defying all footballing logic. Keep in mind, for 79 solid minutes, Argentina had an absolute stranglehold on this match. France looked totally passive. Actually, for a huge chunk of the game, France hadn't even legitimately touched the ball inside the Argentine penalty area. So the idea of a French comeback seemed, well, utterly illogical. They looked miles behind. So that question was echoing around the globe. Could they possibly find a way back? 97. That is the exact staggering number of seconds it took to turn the world totally upside down. Just 97 seconds between Kylian Mbappe converting an 80th minute penalty and then, mere moments later, unleashing this stunning, ferocious equalizer volley. Less than 2 minutes to completely erase 80 minutes of flawless Argentine dominance. He is an awesome force of nature, brutal and brilliant, a bringer of chaos. The commentators absolutely nailed the global shock right there. In the blink of an eye, Mbappe just ripped up the script that had seemingly predestined Messi's easy triumph. He dragged his team back from the dead entirely by himself, leaving the Argentine players completely deflated and just shell-shocked. Act 3, the extra time thriller and shootout. Let's move to and see how this builds. Because going into extra time, both of these titans were no longer running on tactics. They were running on pure adrenaline, pure exhaustion, and just a desperate will to survive on the sport's biggest stage. It's crazy to map out the wild, ping-ponging swings of momentum here. At 108 minutes, Messi scrambles a goal over the line, seemingly winning it again for Argentina. But then, at 118 minutes, Mbappe steps up and scores another intensely high-pressure penalty to tie at 3-3. No way. And then, the absolute climax at 120 minutes plus 3. Argentine goalkeeper Emi Martinez makes a miraculous world-class save with an outstretched leg against Randall Colomwani to force the game to penalties. The first World Cup final hat-trick since 1966. We really have to pause here just to acknowledge the sheer historical weight of that achievement. Because regardless of the final outcome of the looming shootout, Mbappe scoring 3 goals in a World Cup final cements his individual performance as permanently legendary. I mean, he stepped right up into the galaxy of the absolute greats when his country had literally zero margin for error. So, it all comes down to the penalty shootout to resolve this unbearable tension. Mbappe and Messi, they both set the tone by calmly scoring their opening kicks. But then, Emi Martinez's psychological warfare takes over. He delays, he throws the ball away, he gets completely inside the minds of the French takers. France's Kingsley Coman has his shot saved, then Aurelien Tchouameni drags his shot wide under immense pressure. Meanwhile, Argentina's takers, Paulo Dybala and Leandro Paredes, are just clinically precise. The margin for error completely vanishes. Shaking hands with Paredes. With the weight of an entire nation on his shoulders, 25-year-old right-back Gonzalo Montiel stepped up, sent the French keeper the wrong way, and the cathartic release was immediate. Argentina secured their 3rd star, a full 36 years after Diego Maradona's triumph in Mexico. A whole nation exploded into a tango that would last all night long. As the broadcast so poetically put it, the little boy from Rosario has just pitched up in heaven. So what does this all mean? How does a dizzying, chaotic clash of titans like this redefine what we expect from sports on the world's biggest stage? When a match pushes human endurance, tactics, and emotion to the absolute brink, doesn't it make you wonder what other impossible scripts are waiting to be written? Thank you so much for exploring this masterpiece with me. Keep questioning and keep learning.